Hi Vasa. Can you tell me something about yourself, about your background to our audience?
Sure, sure. First of all, thank you, Rohit, for having me today. My name is Barsha Das, and I'm currently a second year engineering student at uh, West Bengal University of Technology. Rohit and I, we share the same college. So, yes, that's about it. But besides that, some of the places that I actually serve. I am the co-organizer of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation Asia Pacific Asia Kolkata chapter. I also serve as the co-organizer of Cube Huddle conferences, and the latest activities under my belt are the Cube Huddle Toronto, which I'm heading today. So apart from that, I also work at four different companies, and I'm heading the product management, product strategy, and the engineering divisions as of such. I work remotely, so that's about it.
Oh, that's a nice intro. I think very few girls from our college, Tier-3 college, do lots of stuff like you. That's a great. That's why I approached you because you are a builder.
Thank you.
So now we are moving to our next question. So can you give your audience about the cookie button project which you are currently working on in depth, like how you started, what's your goal, like how you are thriving or building it from scratch?
Sure, sure. So basically, just to give a very brief intro about the CookieButton project, the CookieButton project is actually a registered open source organization. Now, what do I mean by that? Anybody requiring the skills that are needed to work on any project happening under the CookieButton umbrella, they are welcome to come and join the organization and contribute to the project. So the first flagship project of the CookieButton project is going to be the CookieButton Show, which is something like you is like a podcast. Anybody who has the skills about copywriting, video editing, then thumbnail making, or just public relations, or they one of them are actually like a good speaker or so, they are welcome to.
Button project, so you are working, you are building, so like everything, talk in detail, like how you started, like what's your future plan on this, how you are going to rebuild this. Okay.
Okay. I first of all, I'd really like to say that working in tech any day is a privilege, and the Cookie Button project, as I'd like to call it, is my contribution to the community. So this is more like a community service that I want to launch, and the Cookie Button project is primarily going to be an organization that shelters different open source projects that students, professionals, regardless of their age, career, location, they can come and contribute to the project, right? So the flagship project of the Cookie Button project is going to be a podcast show that is going to be run by an entire group of people who have very different skills. For example, they can make websites, or they can edit videos, they can write scripts, or they can design thumbnails, anybody. And something that I especially advocate for is that most people think that contributing to open source is more about just contributing to the code base of any project, but that is not exactly what open source stand for. Open source, it actually thrives on non-code contributions like these. You can come, you can contribute to the documentation, you can just be a liaison between two organizations. So I would want to advocate the people who do make non-code contributions to any project. So that's about it. And for that, you can actually follow my pages and all my socials, and you will definitely get to learn about the Cookie Button project. Thank you.
So like when you are planning to launch it,
I do not literally have a tentative date in my mind as of now, but because first of all, the exams are coming in the month of February, so February is a no-no. But again, I'll actually be traveling across the world to North America in about 3 to 4 months. So a lot of these procedures are going on, and a lot of work are going on. So once they all get settled, I'll soon launch it.
so nice. So like all the best for your new project, that you are building something for community which add value to like all's life, everyone's life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So moving towards next questions, like as a developers, what are some accomplishments you are particularly proud of, and how did you go about learning and mastering the necessary skill? So can you recommend any resources for our listeners?
Yeah, for sure. First, I'd like to answer the first part of your question. So, as a developer, what are the accomplishments that I'm particularly proud of? Uh, since I said that I do contribute to open source projects, so some of the open source projects that I've contributed to is the COVID-19 code base by John Hopkins University, and the Netflix BSD, which is Netflix open source program. So I've contributed in that particular realm as well. And some of my contributions are pending to the Kubernetes GitHub repository, but I do have contributions in that regard in the doc section of the Kubernetes group. So there are some also small open source projects which I'm also contributing to on a daily basis. So as a developer, I think one of the contributions that I'm most proud of is the project that I undertook as part of the Smart India hackathon that I participated in the very first year of my college. We were working with the Cassandra database. So Cassandra or databases isn't something that a lot of first year students are actually working with. So while we were working with, we understood the sheer lack of different elements that were actually absent from all these projects, and we contributed to the docs of the Cassandra database, because again it's an open source database of how do you create node, how do you link the nodes, how do you run an entire virtual machine on these nodes and all. So all of these different things that I feel that through with my team I got to understand about all these intricacies and the nitty gritty of all these databases. So I feel that in that particular regard I did contribute a lot to the Cassandra database as a user, as a contributor, as such. So I think that is what I'm most proud of.
And the second part, like, what are the resources like anyone can search of, like from where you actually learn all those things and get all the expertise in this domain?
Right. So something which I don't especially recommend a lot of people do is the resources. So a lot of people, while even in my learning journey, I have asked them, hey, what do I follow in order to learn this or learn that? A lot of people have recommended me courses, like follow this particular course, join this particular boot camp. My advice, or I shouldn't say advice, because I feel advices are subjective. So my recommendation would be, do not follow a course. Do not follow a course somebody else recommends you, because I think that's the worst way you learn anything. I'll tell you, if you want to learn anything, let's pick up let's say you want to do web development, which is one of the most basic things that everybody tries their hands on. I'll say that if you want to learn web development, get a roadmap. Roadmaps and courses are different. Get a full roadmap of how do you become a front end developer, of how do you become a back end developer. So once you get a roadmap that, okay, first you learn HTML, then you learn CSS, then you learn JavaScript, you get a roadmap on the paper or on your laptop or as a Word document, not anything. So once you get that, follow each and everything. I'm not going to sit here and recommend you that follow this particular HTML course. No, I'm just going to say, if you want to learn HTML, go to Google, type on Google that free HTML course, and whichever course you find, go and learn that. See the reviews, see anything, and learn in that particular regard. So, even this way, I have learned, or whatever technical skills that I have, I've learned exactly in this particular way. Got a roadmap from somebody who is credible in the field, who is working in the field, who knows what are the exact components and elements required, and just learn them. And I'll tell you, don't focus on just one course, because no course in the world can actually teach you everything. So I'll tell you, get the best of both worlds, search different things and learn from different places. That's about it.
So don't basically stick with just one course or one influencer that I am going to learn from. I am going to learn everything from that influencer.
Actually, I'd like to add something here for people's benefit. Before you follow an influencer or take their advices to heart, I'll recommend you go to their social profiles. Right? For example, you're following, let's say, Mr. X. So if you want to become like Mr. X, go to Mr. X's social profile, go to their LinkedIn, go to their Twitter. Mostly you can go to their LinkedIn and check what are the experiences they have had. Because if somebody is giving plain advices to somebody else without them having done that work, I don't feel that is worth it. So go and follow the credible people in the field. That's it.
That's nice way of learning any new thing. Like if you want to particularly learn HTML, then you can learn particularly HTML from the credible person. Like get the roadmap,
Exactly.
try with your own projects, like do lots of project. In this way, you will learn lots of things. Even I asked for React and you give me the roadmap. That is the beneficial one. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the next question is like we often talk about success in our field. Like everywhere you see in the LinkedIn, by the research on the LinkedIn, like people say that we are in depression by seeing LinkedIn. Research
I'm
happen.
sorry. I'm sorry. Could you please elaborate on that? What do you mean by
So
that?
basically, research happen on different social media, and people say that by seeing LinkedIn, they are in depression because they see lots of success on LinkedIn. Don't get in another way, like lots of majority of people will think like they are not going to open LinkedIn because there are lots of success on LinkedIn. Everyone is like, I'm going to join here XYZ company, this. So like majorly we talk about success every time, we never talk about failure. So like I'm going to highlight on this, like what is your take on failure, how you handle failure, how you handle rejection. I am sure, pretty sure, like everyone fails.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely true. Every fails and every comes across. People don't. When you say look into failures, rejections, basically something that I have been taught even as a child by my grandparents, people, folks, and all, that don't consider anything as a failure. Either you get something or you don't get something, right? So don't objectify your life as failure or as success. Just objectify them as okay, you did not get the results or you did get the results. Because once we start pondering what about, hey, this person is successful, this person is a failure, what do you mean by that? How do you determine the successes?
Yes.
So the concept of success and failure is pretty vague, and again it's pretty subjective. So I don't exactly look into success or failure as something, as a perimeter, or as just an indicator of who I really am. I'm pretty clear about the fact, okay, I wanted this, I did not get this. So how can I get this? Right? And this is the way I usually look at into failure and rejections. One more thing that I'd like to add upon here is that a lot of people feel depressed when they open LinkedIn, right? Do you know why that happens?
I think I don't know the exact reason, but the main thing is mentality here. So if like I am active on LinkedIn from like quite 2 years, but when everyone success, when everyone writes anything about like I'm joining XYZ company, I feel happy. Like I can do it also. If even from a single person from tier 3 college or tier 4 college can get into Google or something, any XYZ company, like I think in such a way that I can do it also, because that is not a very hard thing to do. But on the contrary, other person think like, no, this is the place where I don't come. So they move to Instagram and then scrolling scrolling reels.
True, that's true. Yeah.
So like, do you add something on it?
I would basically say, I mean, your own thoughts that you see somebody say have joined this particular, you become happy. This is a clear sign that you rejoice in somebody else's happiness. Because oftentimes when we see that somebody is achieving, let's say, this particular goal, most people feel depressed. People feel, oh my God, this person has got this. Instead of actually feeling their heart that, yeah, they can do it too, that this is possible. So even this is also like a mentality shift, that people, you have to rejoice and also enjoy somebody else's success, so that you also feel the same success, and you'll probably be able to materialize your successes in the coming future. Yeah.
Yeah, in the same way, like I approached you when I see you, like you are from my college and you did something well, then I approached you just in a few minutes and like, oh, I talked with you, like, what did you do and about your project. So I feel very happy when you did something from our college, because like we can connect with our college. So I second last question, that after finishing college, do you plan to work as an entrepreneur
Yeah.
or like work in some XYZ company?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Is
Yeah.
am I audible?
No, no, you are perfectly audible. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. So
Yeah, I
my
just had a connection glitch.
second question is second last question is, so like after passing from college in 2025, so where do you see yourself? This is not a perfect question, but like where do you see yourself as an entrepreneur, or you are working with someone else in XYZ company?
Okay. So I don't have a straight answer to that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And whatever answer that I have should also not be an indication as to me being decisive or indecisive. What I'd like to put it through is that anything might happen 2 years from now, or while I graduate, and based on whatever happens then, I feel that is then the perfect time to decide whether to take up a job or to start something of my own, or to just probably go abroad and pursue higher studies. I feel that happens with situational takes. Yes, I do have some sort of academic aspirations and some work aspirations as well, which I probably would be fulfilling in the coming years. But it's all about judging the landscape of how different things are working on, and how I can benefit from I can benefit most from whatever the situation is. For example, right now the recession period is going on, right?
Yes,
So if somebody is very rigid on their idea that no, they want to actually go pursue a master's or something, they should actually think 10 times, like whether getting a master's right now is even beneficial or not, right? So it should, you should be very judgmental on every path of your learning landscape and your work landscape. That is super crucial.
and one question that actually came to my mind, that like you are more into open source, right? So
Right.
lots of people, majority of people are not into the open source project, right?
Hmm.
So like
Right.
can you briefly explain like what is open source and how like people will come, if people will know about the open source project, so they think that that is very hard to contributing on open source project. So if they will get to know about the open source project in a brief, in a simple way, then they will come definitely in this landscape. Like
Okay, so the term open source basically comes, from a very technical paradigm. Um, so open source basically means any project or any software whose source code is actually visible and available to everybody who accesses the project. The source code is in confidential. Many companies are working on different softwares, but do we have the source code of those softwares? No, we don't have source code of the Facebook. We don't have source code of something like NASA. We don't have this. But you are using some of the tools like VLC, which is a video streaming platform and all. VLC is an open source program. So if you want to contribute some features to VLC, you should actually find the code base on GitHub or Mercurial or these some version control systems, and you will probably be able to contribute if you have some sort of coding or programming knowledge. But here also there are some stereotypes that I would like to break. Open source is not just about contributing to the code base. You can contribute to anything. For example, a company doesn't require, or a software doesn't require just the code base. It requires a logo, it requires graphics, it requires entire management. So you can be part of that and still contribute to an open source platform.
okay, that's the nice way to portray open source project. So we can contribute in any way to a
Hmm.
company, right? That is a open source. So
Right. I mean, anything which is anything whose source codes are available or whose policies or work flows are available, you can contribute in any way. You can contribute a logo, you can contribute as a graphics person, you can review the documentation and report the bugs. So anything works.
and sorry, one more last question, that is on Web3. Uh, so like you are also interested in Web3, right? So can you tell me like what you are going to think about the Web3, metaverse, and AI, ML, or artificial intelligence, metaverse, Web3?
Okay, so Web3 is more like the new version of the internet, right? Currently, we are living in Web 2.0. Actually, we are living in the threshold of 2.0 and 3. So, Web3 is probably the next generation of internet which is going to come through. So web3 promises decentralized internet, and the fuel that drives web3 is actually the blockchain technology, which I feel a lot of people are actually learning and contributing to projects like Ethereum, Polygon, etc. So the fuel that drives web3 is the blockchain technology, and the use case is actually crypto, NFT, and all of these different other things. So people oftentimes mistaken them to be the same thing. So I feel that web3 promises some of philosophies like a decentralized internet, and people coming together sharing benefits and profits, unlike monopoly organizations, because in monopoly organizations there's only one person benefiting. So in a web3 organization, people can come through and people can equally get paid for the work that they do. So there is no distinction, no.
So like, do you think that Web3 is coming strongly like crypto fails, NFT monkey or monkey dollar that price fallen down to very low? So do you think that it is strongly coming?
Yeah. uh could you please repeat your question once
So
again?
like, do you believe that strongly? Like, lots of people not believe in Web3 yet. So they are like,
Right.
this is just a phase that will go away, that will blown away. That is. So do you think that it will be strongly come like NFT, crypto crashes, NFT prices, lots of NFT figures, paintings figures like fallen down to very low price?
So this is actually a very valid question. I feel everybody should have an answer to. So when the internet was coming, even internet was a fad way back then. People thought that this is some sort of a fraudulent scheme, that it will come and it will go away like a Ponzi scheme or so. So people are treating Web3 exactly like a Ponzi scheme today. Like people are gonna get trapped and will never come out. But as we know that change is a constant, and the technology industry is a very clear indicator that change always happens. So I know that bitcoin, which is part of crypto and all, and different other like ethereums and all, these have kind of become standard sources of income or just earnings in some other parts of the country, right? Even India is looking forward into legalizing bitcoin, crypto, and all of these different other things. So as the day moves forward, or as the future moves forward, we'll figure out if this is something that is here to stay, or it is something that will probably go away in a spoof.
Okay, so that's the nice way. So now coming to last question. So any advice for listener who is listening you? So any sort of advice?
Advices, I would like to know advices
Like
in which regard?
advices in terms of like what to do in recession. Like lots of people are depressed. Lots of students like you in first year, second year, like they probably don't know what to do next because like their dream company are laying off right now. So like they are in dilemma like what they are going to do next. Either they stop their preparation or they will choose a different path that is the entrepreneur path leading to a Shark Tank fact. So they are in dilemma like what to do next.
Okay, so I have quite a bit of perspective right here. First of all, I'd like to tackle one thing, which is entrepreneurship, right? So entrepreneurship is not at all like a very easy or a very fancy thing. Easy not in terms of the regard that okay, you start up a company and that's what it happens. In order to run a company and an organization, you require skills, right? You require the understanding of how the market performs. So just because you don't get a job, or just because there is recession in the job market, it doesn't mean that you have to go and start up a company, right? Because the probability of falling down is pretty great, and not a lot of people have the sense of what works and what doesn't work. So I'll always say that if they're really looking forward to build an organization of themselves, they should ask themselves first, why are they building the organization, right? What are they going to get out of building this organization? They should have a structure plan or something. Coming to the other questions as to what the students should be doing in terms of recession, I do not think that I'm the right person to answer that question, primarily because of the fact that I'm still a second year student. I do work at a lot of places, but I'm keeping the name of the organizations that I'm worked for a little disclosed here. I should not say that right here. So since I'm working remotely and all, I have not been able to actually come across a time when people that my company is laying off. They are not actually laying off. On the contrary, they are actually hiring more folks. They are hiring senior folks. So I don't think so that I'm the right person to comment on this. Another point that you asked, like what to do when students are confused, right? How they should be going about it. First of all, you need to realize that uh, don't waste your time, right? When I say that don't waste your time, I'm not asking you to do dancing or watch movies or something. No, dancing, watching movies, they're equally beneficial. Even we have dancers in the college who are quite well known. They have been dancing since their entire school life. Or dancing is a skill, right? Watching movies, reviewing them is also a skill. But you should also be able to understand that you are becoming an adult, right? You're soon going to be an adult. So you also need to think on your feet. What are exactly the things that you should be working on, and how can you build a life for yourself? So how do you do that? You need to understand what are the things that you have currently. Okay, you are in engineering college, so you are at a greater benefit of learning various different skills. If you're in tech, you are even more privileged. As I said in the very beginning of this particular conversation, there are so many things that you can explore just in tech. Tech is endless. So pick anything up. As I said, follow a roadmap. Try to follow the roadmap, try to develop the skills, and try to build projects, right? Minor projects, major projects, doesn't matter, but build something where you're putting your logic to test. So do that, keep doing that. Go network with people because networking is super crucial. If somebody is watching this particular video, I'd like to say, just the way Rohit and I, we are currently having a conversation. We are having this conversation is because Rohit reached out. We had a conversation, we fixated on a date. This is called networking. We are getting value from one another. Also, one thing, don't do something just for your own selfish reasons. Do
Yes,
things
yes.
where there are some mutual contribution is there. Rohit has called me on his particular channel so that he can share the information that I'm sharing with you guys. So once you know me, you know what the things I do. So you network with me. You understand what are the fields that I'm working on. You share your interests. You come participate in a hackathon with me. You come participate in a project with me. So it's very important for you to get some real life experience, and this is something that I have always advocated and focused upon even before I began college. That is also one of my reasons that I contribute to open source, because I know that the code that I'm contributing to, or the things that I'm contributing to that open source project, they're actually used by millions and millions of people out there. So many people are watching Netflix. It's so happy for me to see that, okay, I have made like a small code contribution into Netflix. That is my contribution. So these are real life contributions and real life experiences. I tell people, acquire the skills as fast as you can. Don't be lazy, just acquire them as fast as you can. Learn them, build some projects, and go seek experiences, right? Go seek internships, go work for people, go work remotely. So that's about it.
Yes, yes. Opportunities are everywhere. Just we have to explore more and more.
Right.
So yeah, nice talking to you, Vasa. Lovely
Thank
talking
you.
to you. Like I also want to express, like I am also building community because engineers unemployment ratio is very high. So that is a long term plan. So I want to reduce at least 1% from my side to unemployment ratio, basically in the engineering field. That's why also building a community. So we will help each other.
Right. Uh,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's my mission. Thank you, Vasa.
Thank you
We
so
will do
much for
another
having me.
podcast soon in person if everything
Thank
goes
you.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye.